In this video, we will go from complete beginners to professional video editors using Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects. But before we start, guys, let me show you how you will be able to edit by the end of this tutorial. Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news. Based on the LinkedIn expert Justin Welch, posting generic content like quick tips, how-tos, or even ChatGPT generated content doesn't work anymore. What's working right now is essence. Now, let me actually tell you what that means. When you overcome a challenge or you solve a problem in your life, you gain genuine expertise and insights. But it is only when people see that you overcome a challenge that they want to solve, when they truly connect with you. There is a system to share your insights and expertise in an original and honest way. I call it the online ecosystem, and I just recorded a video explaining how it works. If you want the video, just comment the word system and I will send it over to you. Okay guys, so before we start and everything, this is the workflow that we are going to be following. I highly suggest getting Adobe Creative Cloud. I personally got it, and for the first year, depending on the country, right? But on my country, I was able to pay like $30 a month and get all the tools, okay? And as I'm gonna show you, we can get Premiere Pro, After Effects, but even more than that, we can get Photoshop, and I was even able to get fonts from the Adobe Creative Cloud, and fonts are something crucial for the editing style, as we're gonna learn through the tutorial, okay? So I highly suggest getting the Adobe Creative Cloud, but again, that's on you. I'm gonna leave the link on the description. If you wanna get that and support the channel, you will be highly supporting the channel. But you know, if you already have it, that's totally fine. Now let's move on here. So we're gonna be using Premiere Pro, okay, in order to prepare the footage, the audio, do color correction and all that stuff. Then we're gonna jump into After Effects to do the animations, and we're gonna be using things like Canva and Google Chrome to get the assets, as you guys are gonna see. And then we're gonna jump again on Premiere Pro to finish the details, things like sound effects, music, captions, and stuff like that. Now, here are the modules for the tutorial. Guys, I know this is a long video. By the time I'm recording this, I don't know, I'm editing the modules and it's around 7 hours, something like that. So I know it's really long, but just think about this. How long does it take for a school day or university day or high school day, right? It's like anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, right? So I highly just encourage you to watch the whole tutorial. It can take you some days, that's totally fine, but we're gonna be learning a bunch of stuff here, because I really went on detail on everything, okay? Even though it's a simple reel and I preach to have an efficient workflow so we can edit fast, even though I preach editing fast, this tutorial is very long because we're laying the foundation, okay? So if you can take 6 to 8 hours for one day of a school, I don't see it crazy to take 7 hours to watch a tutorial where you're gonna learn a lot, guys. You're gonna learn a lot. So the first module is efficient workflow, where we're gonna build an efficient system with file organization, editing style, Premiere Pro dashboard, and a template for Premiere Pro. This is very important to have an efficient workflow. And then we're gonna go over the fundamentals, so understanding video editing, okay, preparing the footage, ideating the After Effects dashboard, the template, animation fundamentals, okay. In module 3, advanced editing, so become a pro. Rotoscoping, shape layers, keyframes, null object, bevs, After Effects, effects, 3D cameras, a bunch of stuff, okay, adding sound effects, captions. So note, the video will be divided by chapters, so you're going to be able to see the chapters right now on YouTube. There are a lot of chapters, but and based on your level, so if you're a beginner, you can watch the whole thing. If you're a little bit advanced, you can go to the chapters that work for you. Mainly the chapters that will work for you is advanced editing. But again, guys, you want to go through the whole thing so you can actually learn the big picture of what I'm teaching here, because I'm not only teaching video editing, as you're gonna see as I explain. I'm teaching like a whole skill that you can use in many different ways in order to create the life that you want, to make money, to help clients, to help creators, and to even help yourself and build your own brand, okay? So important note, guys, this channel will not be about video editing anymore, okay? It will not be about video editing anymore, but I still wanted to share all the knowledge I have about video editing with you guys. Why? Because I believe anyone can learn this skill for free. That's why I'm doing this tutorial, and that's why it's a really long tutorial. And I'm not it's not that some people do like 10-hour tutorials, but they are just taking all their videos from their channel putting them together and then making a 10-hour tutorial. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a tutorial from scratch. I'm not recycling any videos here. I'm creating a tutorial from scratch. So and if you need, as you're gonna see, if you need any additional one-on-one support, I can help you with that. Okay, but that's for later. You guys are gonna see just a quick note that I do. Now I just challenge you to watch the whole tutorial, practice 1 to 2 hours for 30 days straight, and document the whole process on X. Okay, I'm gonna explain why. Again, you're gonna find a segment, an important note that I do through the tutorial of why I'm challenging you to do this. Okay, so once you do that, focus on getting your first 1 to 3 clients in the next 30 days. If you're doing this in order to get clients, if you're not doing this in order to get clients, then just focus on getting better for your personal brand and creating amazing content. So with that being said, we can now move on to the actual tutorial. Okay guys, so the first thing that we want to do is to download all the things, the videos and assets that we will need for the tutorial. Okay, so I left a link on the description to this Google Drive where you can download the video. Okay, this is going to be the reel that we're going to be editing, just download it anyways, and the audio. Okay, so just put it on downloads on your computer, and the microphone as well, put it in downloads. Just click save here. By the way, I'm on MacBook right now. My previous tutorials were about I was editing on Windows previously, but now I'm on MacBook, so just keep that in mind. Okay, now we have Gumroad, so I left some options for you guys because we are going to need video editing assets. We're going to be using video editing assets for the tutorial. I left some options. Feel free to choose the one that you guys the one that fits for you. Okay, you have the basic pack, you have the full pack, the premium pack, and you also have the bundle with the CapCut Mastery course as a bonus. And these premium assets are 50% discount. As by the time I'm recording this video, by the time I post it, it's going to be on 50% discount for the next 7 days. That's just to encourage you guys to get it, and you know, I don't know, like as a bonus for the first guys who are watching the tutorial, I guess. Okay, so 50%, but you also have the other options, the bundle. Just make sure that whatever you're gonna get, for example, if you're gonna get the basic, just make sure to type a number here. Okay, you can type 0, or you can also donate something. So if you type 0, add it to the cart, and then this thing appears here. I don't know how to get rid of this, so maybe doing this. Perfect. So you get to the checkout, and you just put your email address. If it asks for a tip, just type 0 again, and then you're gonna be able to get it. All right, the same for the other ones. I'm gonna just remove this, go back, and go back. For like, if you want to get the premium pack, you just add it to the cart. Is right now is 15 bucks. Later it's gonna be 30 bucks. Put the email and just go ahead and pay for it. Okay, so once that's done, it will take you to a Google Drive link. Okay, it is going to take you to a Google Drive link, and what we essentially want to do, let me just minimize this. This is the OBS that I'm recording. Once that's done, you want to go to the files. Okay, and you're gonna have on the downloads all the stuff that you downloaded. By the way, if you buy like the premium assets, or you just go ahead and buy the basic ones or the full pack, whatever, don't download everything at once. Okay, some people ask me before, hey Pablo, I'm trying to download everything, it's just a lot of files, like I cannot do it. Just go ahead and, like, once you're on Google Drive, go ahead and download the stuff that works for you, only the things that you're gonna use, or start downloading everything just little by little. Don't try to download everything all at once, because it can get messy. I understand it can get messy, so just keep that in mind. All right, once you download everything, we want to organize the stuff. The way I do it is, if we go here to Pablo, we have like, well, I have different folders. You want to create 3 main folders, okay, on your disk or on your computer, whatever. And you want to create a folder for you, so if you are recording your reels by yourself, or you are, I don't know, building your brand on Instagram with podcast clips or anything, you want to have a folder for yourself, a folder for the assets, and a folder for clients. Okay, so for example, in my case, I have this folder where I create a folder for my reels, for my YouTube, and for my courses. Okay, and on the editing assets, I have the full pack, some paid assets, and the premium assets. Okay, once I click on that, I also organize it by presets, by backgrounds, overlays, sound effects, and so on and so forth. Okay, you guys get the point for the full pack as well. And that's basically how you want to create and organize the files on your computer. Now let's go back to downloads, and I'm gonna take these two, and I'm gonna drag and drop these two to my videos, to my reels, and I'm gonna just drop them here. Okay, as you can see, I have two samples here of reels that I have edited before, and I have my editing style. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that in a few minutes, but you want to have your own editing style, because it is here where you actually just put all the things that you're going to be using for your brand or for your clients' brands. Okay, things like overlays, sound effects, and stuff like that. All right, so and then you want to create an individual folder for every reel you create, and you want to name it as R1 and then whatever the name of that reel. Okay, so for example, here I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call it R3 in this case, or just a simple R and reel tutorial, something like that. Okay, let's just do R3, and then I'm gonna call it basic content, just basic content. Okay, because that is going to be the name of the reel that we're going to be editing. Now I'm going to take those two, I'm going to drag and drop them right there. And as you can see, guys, not only are we creating like the folder for that, I'm going to create a folder for the images that I'm going to be using for that specific reel. Okay, and I'm going to create another folder for the renders that I'm going to be doing about that reel. You guys are gonna see what I'm talking about. You just want to keep everything organized. Okay, organization is so important to have an efficient workflow, and this is what we're doing as of now. Just to show you an example of a reel that I already edited is this one. Okay, so I have some clips that I'm using within the actual reel, and I have the images that I use for that specific reel. I have both the audio and the video, and then some renders. Okay, that's just literally an example of one of the reels that I edited. The same for this one. Okay, so we got the folder perfect. We have the footage, the audio, and a couple other folders. And let's say that here on downloads, you can actually get rid of this if we wanted to. And you're gonna have all the assets that you downloaded. Well, not all the assets, but the ones that you see you're gonna be using. Okay, so remember, from one of these assets here, you're gonna have it on the downloads. So you wanna, again, just go ahead and create a folder that it's about video editing assets, and then just put it inside folders as you see here. Again, don't try to download everything all at once. Perfect. I'm taking a little bit too long, but I want to explain everything very, very clearly for you guys, so you get the point on how to actually just organize everything. All right, so that would be it for this little segment of the module. Now we can move on to the next one. Alright guys, so editing style, pretty simple. Okay, you want to keep some colors, you want to keep some style on either your brand or your client's brand. Okay, you want to keep it high quality, you want to keep it clean. And the reason why we do this is because it increases the authority for a brand, at least when it comes to business here on Instagram, or you can also use like things like TikTok, Twitter, but again, Instagram is very about looks, okay, how everything looks. So we want to nail that, whether we are working for a client or doing videos by ourselves as well. Okay, so just keep it clean, define some colors, this is what a editing style looks like. So if I go to my reels, I didn't have this one like from the very beginning. It's something that will evolve over time. So when I got started, I kind of had like an editing style, as you can see, with the thumbnails, with the clips, with everything, but it has been evolving ever since. To now I style what I got the lights, and I could play a little bit more around with more stuff. So just wanted to show you a little bit what basically an editing signature means. Now when we are creating an editing style, it is essential to understand the audience that will see the videos that you're going to be creating. Okay, so the best way to understand the audience is by doing a market research. All right, so check what other creators are doing within the industry that you're going to be editing for or editing in. Check articles, videos, take all the info and create a style that you like. If it is a style for yourself and not really a client, just do something that you really like. Okay, now here's an important note: this style is not final. It will evolve over time, just like I show you. We don't want to get repetitive with our edits or lazy. We want to create something new and unique for every video. The editing style is just a foundation that serves as a starting point for us to get creative. Once you go through the market research, you want to select things like fonts, colors, backgrounds, creating presets, putting everything together by creating a template. Don't worry, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but yeah, I also left a document here. I think I'm going to leave all of this in the links in the description. So if you click here, the editing style, I left a document that you guys can go ahead and make a copy of, and then don't request edit access to this template, and don't request edit access to the video editing assets, because for the previous tutorials, people I don't know, they just ask for access to the video editing templates. I just cannot give access to you guys. You can either download the assets as normal, and with these files, just go ahead and create a copy of it. Okay, this is a copy that you can even use for a client. For example, you I don't know, jump on a call with a client, you do a market research to make sure you're doing a good work for that client. Okay, remember, this tutorial is going to be about how to do the best work in the highest quality possible, so you actually stand out as a video editor. Now you can put some brand information, things like brand logos, fonts, colors, all that stuff, and then just go ahead and download things from the internet that you think you're going to be using, things like unique icons, images for that specific editing style, creating background colors on either Canva or After Effects. I'm going to show you how to do that, organizing files on your computer, and then creating the video editing template. So this was a little bit of theory. I also want to show you, before we jumped onto the After Effects and all those things, I want to show you just a folder I did for my client, because this client, he talks about Airbnb. So within his videos here on his reels, I edited some of his reels, and I don't know, we can take a look at some of his reels on renders and the final renders. If I actually open this, I'm gonna just lower the volume because I don't know how loud it is.
Here's why I love when guests throw parties at my Airbnb. Everybody thinks it's this major thing.
Okay, so I'm using like a specific font for him. I'm using another specific font here.
Oh my gosh, there's a party. People don't even want to get a party. I can file claims with Airbnb.
So for example, here I have a background very clean, very normal, and I'm starting to use colors for the like Airbnb. Okay, I even downloaded the Airbnb font so I could use it on these clients' videos, and as you can see, I'm keeping the colors related to the obviously Airbnb. I don't know why I keep forgetting this word, but yeah, Airbnb. If we go back to, for example, I don't know, Reel 7, and I go to, I didn't do renders for this one, but
buying properties on real estate can be a difficult game when it's
there is like a line with the same colors as Airbnb. I don't know why this looks weird.
The idea of rental.
And then I'm doing like the edits. Don't worry, we're gonna be learning
sales
about
job.
this.
I was really looking for a way to compress time and actually help me build wealth. And that's where I stumbled upon the idea of rental art.
I'm trying to keep the colors. I'm trying to keep the images. I'm trying to keep keep it high quality. Keep it simple. Keep it you know, that it looks nice. It's not over edited. It looks clean. Okay, that's the ideal goal that we want to do. And look at this.
On all of the furniture.
Look at this background. It's the colors. I'm using the colors of Airbnb.
On 0%.
And as you can take a look at the text boxes and the icons boxes, they all match. Okay, this is what I mean by keeping everything clean. But again, we're gonna be learning about this also, like how to do B-rolls as well, and call to actions and all that stuff. So the fonts and pretty much everything. So we are keeping an editing style here. Again, I know I'm taking too long here with these first modules, but I just want you guys to see the entire picture of what it is to build an editing signature and everything. So now we can move on to the next segment of the module. Okay guys, so now we're going to be talking about how to create a Premiere Pro template, and we're going to see a little bit the dashboard, and we're not going to go really deep into the dashboard. Just going to show you how to simply create a template and show you guys how I do it to, again, have the best and efficient workflow possible. So we're going to open Premiere Pro, okay, and as you can see guys, I have different projects here. If this is the first time using Premiere Pro for you, you're not gonna have projects here, obviously. But the reason why I want to show you before creating the template and creating a new project, I want to explain why I'm naming these projects like this. Because I have seen that some people, they go ahead and create a new project for every video that they are going to edit. That's totally fine, okay, that is totally fine. But it is way better to create one project for several videos, okay? I created a project for my client and I edited his reels, like several reels inside one project. The same for my YouTube videos, the same for my reels, because I'm going to show you why that is the best way to do it, okay? Before I actually go ahead on my reels and like show you the stuff, I want to go here to new project, and for the name, you're gonna either choose your name or your client's name if you're editing for a client, and then you want to specify what that project is going to be for, either reels, YouTube videos, ads, VSLs, whatever. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to call it tutorial reels, but in your case, it's going to be, again, as I mentioned. Now, the location, honestly, most of the time I just keep it where it is, but if you want to change that, you can do it. So for example, if you are editing for a client or creating a project for a client, then you can choose the location. Here I can go to Pablo, clients, and then I can choose the location for the specific thing. So if I'm creating a project for reels for my client Adam, then I'm gonna choose that and I'm gonna save it here on that folder. Okay, the same for you. Okay, you can actually just go ahead to your videos, your reels, and you can save it here. It could be even be in the editing style folder or just your reels folder. Okay, so for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna keep it on the default location, and I'm not going to choose a template because I'm going to show you how to actually create it the way I create it, at least that I have found that is most efficient. So I'm going to create the project, and as you can see, it's going to like ask you if you want to add some footage. Honestly, you just want to skip that, just skip it. And this is the dashboard basically. Okay, if you have never used Premiere Pro, don't get overwhelmed. It's pretty simple, but as you can see, this is the normal dashboard. Now, if this doesn't look like yours, you just want to go on Window, on Workspaces, and then you want to choose the vertical one. Why? Because we're going to be editing reels in this case, all right? And so, that's why we're choosing this, because we're going to have the video here. We can see it clearly. And then we're going to be editing here on the timeline, all right? And then we are going to have like other panels here, okay? All of these things, as you can see, I can move them around. All of these things are panels. You can close them, okay? And if you close any panel, you can just go here back to Window, and by checking any of these, you're going to make it appear again. Okay, now you can also drag and drop panels into whatever location you want. Okay, just for you to know, I'm gonna keep that one there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this panel, which is the project files and all that stuff, and I'm gonna put it here on the side. All right, because I want to have all the files here. And if you guys want, you can also do the same. And now we are gonna start creating the template. Okay, that's what we want to create right here on this video. So on the previous segment of the tutorial, I talked about the editing style overview. Okay, how to do the market research, how to download the stuff that you're going to need from these assets. Remember, in assets on the internet, you're gonna be downloading that. All right, so once you do that and organize it, everything, you organize all the things that you're gonna use on your computer, then we want to go here and create a new bin. And then we want to call it template. All right, so we're gonna call that template. Perfect. So we have the template bin. That is the most important one for the template. And now we're gonna double click there, and I'm gonna leave a video on the description just so you guys can also download this video. This is a 1080p video, because for Instagram, I'm gonna explain this in the next modules, like more in depth. But basically for Instagram, even though we have 4K footage, we mainly want to have or edit in 1080p. Okay, because if you try to upload a 4K footage on Instagram, then it's gonna lose the quality. So we want to keep it at 1080. Now I'm just gonna select here a random video that I have that is 1080. Don't worry, I'm gonna leave it in the Google Drive. I just forgot to do it at the very beginning when I started recording this. But anyways, I'm just gonna go to renders and just choose this one. And as you can see, it's 1080. And then I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna create a sequence. Okay, because right now the timeline, I cannot edit anything here on the timeline. All right, so I can either create a sequence by right clicking here and create a sequence, or I can just go ahead and drag and drop it into the timeline. Okay, perfect. So you can click X here, and there you go. All right, we now have the video and we have the sequence. This is the sequence. All right, now I just needed to drag and drop this video, so the actual sequence is a 1080 sequence. If I actually go here, right click, and I go to sequence settings, if at any point you want to see what are the settings of your sequence, then you can see that this one is 24 frames per second, 1080, 1920. I'm just gonna click OK, and there you go, we have the sequence. Now the next thing that we want to do, well, we can actually go ahead now and delete this video. We don't need it anymore. We can delete here, and we can change the name of this sequence. So just click enter, okay, or press enter, and we're gonna call it again the name of your the name of you or your client, and then just template. All right, so you can see here that now this timeline is called tutorial template. That's how we want to keep it, just to keep everything organized. And then here inside the bin of the template, here is where we want to start creating new bins for sound effects, overlays, okay, things like music as well, so some music. And yeah, those are the things that we are gonna be mainly using on this template. All right, and now, because things like backgrounds, and as you're gonna see, things like backgrounds and text, those things we're gonna be creating on After Effects. So for now, Premiere Pro, we're just gonna keep it simple, and those are the folders. Now, for example, you're gonna go here into sound effects, and you're gonna right click, and you're going to import the assets that you previously downloaded whenever you were working on the video editing style and video editing signature for either yourself or your client. So for example, on my case, on my videos, on my reels, I have the editing style folder, so I can go there, I can go to sound effects, and I can import all these sound effects. And as you can see, I added a text just for the sake of organization. So I have whooshes, cash, I have belts, the camera sound effects, risers, all these things, just to keep it organized. So if I want, I can just go ahead, Well, I'm not gonna drag and drop it just yet. Okay, I'm gonna go back to template bin, and I'm gonna also add the overlays of my editing signature. Okay, so if you hear any background noise, it's my family. Let's just keep going. They sometimes don't understand that I'm recording videos, but anyways, if I go to editing style, I go to overlays, and I'm gonna drag and drop these two. I'm gonna import it, and I can just go ahead and drag and drop whatever I want to use. Okay, so I'm gonna drag and drop these ones. I'm gonna keep the existing settings of the timeline, and as you can see, I added the text for this one. I'm gonna just hold Option and scroll through the timeline to make it bigger, maybe a little bit smaller, and then I can get rid of this initial text because again, it's just for the sake of organization. And then I can just go ahead and start separating the different overlays that I have created in this editing signature. Okay, perfect. If you didn't get the premium assets, that's totally fine. You're going to do the same with whatever assets you got. You're going to, again, organize it into folders, and the main idea here is to start drag and dropping those things into this tutorial template or just the template timeline. Okay, this is gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, but it's gonna save you a lot of time in the future, as you're gonna see, because whenever I'm editing my reels and I'm finishing the reels, I just need to add overlays and sound effects and some music. Then I just literally go ahead and drag and drop things, and that's it. I don't need to go ahead and find folders or find on the internet and take all this time. You can do that, but it takes a lot of time, and remember that the goal is to do high quality edits in the fastest time possible. So this is how we do it. Perfect. You want to go ahead and do that for overlays, and here on sound effects, for example, I'm going to drag and drop the sound effects, and then we have the sound effects here. Okay, obviously the sound effects, we just need the sound, we just need this text here, so you can right click and unlink those two, and now you can either just delete it or just keep it there, so as a reference for organization. And now you can just go ahead and cut these. Okay, so you cut those. Again, there are a lot of different templates right there, and you can just go ahead and use them individually. Again, I put them all in one file, but this doesn't mean that all these are the same wishes. Obviously they aren't. You need to go ahead and separate them. All right, so just to recap, you want to decide the editing signature. You want to download all the stuff that you're gonna need. Okay, at the beginning I suggest just a few files, not too many files, and then you organize them on the bins here on Premiere Pro. Okay, so basically you're gonna have the template, and after you do everything and after you organize pretty much everything, then you're gonna be ready to your template is gonna be ready. So just to show you an example, I'm gonna save this here, and I'm gonna go to file, I'm gonna close the project, and I'm going to open my reels. Okay, and I'm going to show you really quick my template. So this is my template, and for example, I have the overlays here. So these are some of the overlays that I use. Okay, I also have the sound effects, so camera sound effects, whooshes, and I just try to keep everything organized, because again, whenever I'm editing, I just go ahead and if I need a hit or if I need a UI whoosh, I just come quickly here, I listen to all the whooshes. Okay, I don't know if you guys are hearing that, but I can go ahead and recognize which one I want to use, and then boom, go ahead and apply it to my video. Okay guys, so welcome to this module, and in this one we're going to be learning about how to prepare the footage, some basic video editing fundamentals, some ideation and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open the project that we created previously on the previous module. Just a quick note, if you're going to do edits for YouTube videos, then it's good to go ahead and create a new project for a YouTube video with a template for a YouTube video. Okay, separate from the ones for reels. Okay, just a quick note, I'm gonna go ahead and open my project, okay, where I have the template for the reels. You want to go ahead and do the same. We have the sequence with the assets, and we have the folders here. okay, the folder of the template. And I also have some folders for other reels, because that is what we want to do. We want to create a new bin for every reel that we're going to be editing. So in this case, I'm going to create a new bin. I'm going to just call it R3 basic content. Okay, you can give it the name that you want. In this case, I'm just trying to keep everything organized here. I'm going to open that bin, and I'm going to right click and import the footage that we're going to be editing. Okay, in my case, I have it on Pablo videos, and then Pablo reels basic content. Okay, so I'm going to import these two, import it, and then I'm going to create a new sequence from this clip. Okay, I'm not going to drag and drop it here, because this is the sequence or the timeline for the template. Okay, I'm gonna create a new sequence for the new reel that I'm gonna be editing. So you see the name here, basic content is dying. It will take, like, the sequence will take the name of the video. Okay, but we want to go ahead and change that, and I'm gonna explain why in just a few seconds. So I'm gonna put it 4K, because this video is in 4K quality. Okay, so I'm gonna call it R3 basic content, and this is the 4K timeline. Okay, this is a 4K sequence because the footage is in 4K. And now that allows me to explain how I am recording my setup and the lights and everything, because people ask me, hey Pablo, how are you recording? Are you recording with an iPhone? What microphone do you use? The lights and everything. So I made a reel about it on my Instagram. You can go ahead and check it out, but I also created a gear list explaining what I'm using. So the app that I use is for my iPhone is not the native iPhone camera app. It's just a Vcam app, because it allows me to control more stuff here. Okay, it allows me to control white balance, ISO, frame rates, quality, the bits of the video, okay, which is important. These are the settings that I'm using currently to get this quality of video here. Okay, now keep in mind this app is for iPhone, as you can see, so you can get it. It's really cheap, and I actually recommend it a lot because you can control pretty much everything. Okay, for those of you who know filmmaking, you know what I'm talking about. And then when it comes to the lights, I left some links of the lights that I'm using, you know, the key light and the main light, the background lights, and the microphone and the scarlet. Okay, perfect. So that is when it comes to my setup. All right, again, go ahead and check the reel if you want to see how I'm position everything, the lights and everything. Okay, so with that being said, now we can get into the video itself. Now we're gonna start preparing this, but first, it is in 4K. Okay, and why am I recording in 4K? Well, the reason why I'm recording in 4K is because it's the best quality. Now, if you're gonna record a YouTube video, or a client is recording a YouTube video in 4K, you want to start editing and doing the cuts and the trims on this 4K sequence, okay, because that is the sequence or the video that you're going to export to use on After Effects and do the animations. That's totally fine. But since we're gonna post this reel on Instagram, by the time I'm recording this, Instagram only supports 1080p footage or HD footage. Okay, so since that's the case for Instagram, we want to convert this 4K footage into 1080p. Now, Pablo, why aren't you recording in HD or 1080p right away? Well, because the video is going to be HD quality and I want it to be 4K quality. Whenever we have 4K and we convert it to HD, it's going to keep the 4K quality in itself. Okay, I hope that was understandable, but you guys get the point. I didn't know this at the very beginning, and I was editing in 4K timeline, and then I was creating a 1080p sequence or yeah, just timeline on After Effects, and it was just a mess. That's why I'm explaining all of these things, so you keep those in mind. Now, before we actually go ahead and make this video, you know, like 1080p, basically what we want for Instagram, we are going to synchronize the audio of the video. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to make this just a lot bigger here, maybe not too much, just a little bit, maybe not too much. and go to the very beginning of that video. Okay, so perfect, something like this. By the way, I'm holding Option and just scrolling on my mouse to do that. And I don't know why, but sometimes it happens that I drag and drop, or I create a new sequence with a video, and the audio is just not synchronized. I don't know, sometimes this happens to me on Premiere Pro. If you know why this is, just leave it on the comments, but honestly I don't know. Look, take a look at this. Like, my mouth is not synchronized with the sound of the audio. Take a look at this. Right position right now. Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that. You see, it's just not working. So it's not synchronized, so we're gonna go ahead and fix that. So I'm gonna take the video a little bit here, I'm gonna unlink that, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna deactivate this because I just want to move it a little bit. Maybe make this bigger here and actually take a look at that. Basic content is okay, maybe a little bit more. Basic content is dying, but let me actually. Okay, maybe just a tiny bit more. Basic content is dying, but and just a small bit more. Again, I don't know why this happens sometimes with some videos. If it doesn't happen with a video, that's totally fine. You want to skip this step, but if it happens, then you wanna be careful, okay? Because we wanna have the right audio here. Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news. Maybe just a tiny bit more. Okay, perfect. It is perfect that way. So I'm gonna take. I'm gonna activate this again and take this video, put it here, okay? And now I'm going to link those two. All right, link it. Okay, they are fine right now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna drag and drop the audio from the microphone. I'm gonna select all the clips and watch what's going to happen here. I'm gonna right click and synchronize everything. Synchronize it on audio track channel 1, and it took the video and it just took the video and moved it a little bit to the right, okay, for some reason. So I'm just going to unlink those again, take the video, align it again, and as we can see, now everything is up and running. So if we click here, basic content, let me lower the volume of that, sorry guys, is dying, but basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why. Okay, perfect. So the audio has been synchronized and pretty much fixed. I'm gonna delete it. Okay, I'm gonna delete the audio from the iPhone. I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna align it here, I'm gonna put it up, make sure it's 0 0 0 0, so you're not moving it left or right, because if not you will lose the synchronization. And then I'm gonna link these two again. All right, perfect. And then I'm gonna just take them to the very beginning of the timeline. Make sure you're taking them to the very beginning of the timeline and then play it. Okay, so I think I'm on the right position right now. Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news. Okay, pretty good. So the audio has been synchronized and everything is working perfectly. Now we are not gonna do the cuts here. By the way, I wanna go here and just cut this here as well. So I'm gonna cut it somewhere here. All right, and then just delete this. All right, perfect. So okay, perfect. So it's been synchronized, the audio has been fixed. All right, now I'm not gonna color correct and do all the cuts here because I want to export that. Again, remember, we are editing in 4K. We want to convert this 4K footage to 1080p. Once it's converted, we then can go ahead and do all the trims and cuts and color corrections and then finally export it. Okay, so we're gonna go here to export options. I'm gonna just deactivate this. On your case, it's gonna look like this. Okay, for the first time it's just gonna look like this. So I'm gonna change the name and the location for that. All right, so again, remember, on Pablo videos, on your computer it's going to be different. Pablo Reels, basic content, and I want to put it on renders. That's why I created the that folder, and I want to call it 1080p because this is going to be the 1080p version. So I'm going to save it, and on that location, 1080p version. Now I'm going to unclick this box, I'm going to uncheck it, and I'm going to do here 1080 by 1920. Okay, and then I'm gonna click more and render at maximum depth, use maximum render quality. Okay, entire source, this is as it is, don't pay attention to other settings, not necessary. Just the name, the location, the 1080p version, these things here, and the entire source. Export it, and then we're gonna wait a little bit here so it can export, you know, correctly and successfully. Okay guys, so the video has been successfully exported. So if I go here and if I go to Pablo videos and reels, I can go to basic content, renders, perfect, the video is here. Now we want to check that everything is right, so let's see. Okay, so I think I'm on the right position right now. Okay, perfect. So the audio is fine, it's working, we have the video. Okay, we have the 1080p version. Okay, that's the version that we want to have. And now look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna import the video. Okay, so the 1080p version of that video, I'm gonna import it. And then what I want to do is I want to create a new sequence, not a 4K sequence, but a 1080p sequence using that video. Okay, just like we did previously. So new sequence from clip. Okay, we create the new sequence from the clip, and we can see it here. All right, so now we can go ahead and close the 4K one, and here is where we're going to start doing the cuts and trims and color correction. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll that a lot, and then what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and start trimming the video and everything. So basic content is dying, right? Now every reel you want to keep it at around 30 seconds to 40 seconds, unless your client is telling you like do more or less, you know, depending on their video. But yeah, 40 seconds is like a good amount of time for a reel, because longer than that is just too long for you know, short form platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Now I'm gonna try to do, here's where you want to try to do your best to organize the video in the way that makes the most sense. Okay, by eliminating the breaths, the mistakes, and unnecessary phrases. All right, so I want you to go ahead and spark your creativity and start cutting the video in a way that makes sense. Okay, now just to show you how to do cuts, you can use this tool here. Okay, make the cut. All right, just like that. You can deselect this, you can delete, and then delete this, so you know, you get the video back to the very beginning. But if we don't want to do all those things, there are faster ways to do it. Okay, now if you want to check the shortcuts, you want to go to Premiere Pro and go to keyboard shortcuts. Okay, and here is where you can basically just see what are like the shortcuts and pretty much everything. I'm gonna close this with OK. And a shortcut that I have is that with C, I can just cut it right away with just clicking Z, boom, pressing the C keyboard. There you go, perfect. The C key. Okay, sometimes I confuse keys and keyboard. So anyways, I just clicked it and I add an edit right there. Okay, but I'm gonna undo that because there is even a faster way where I can just go ahead and click or press the key Q, and it's gonna like make the cut, delete this part, and take the video to the very beginning. Okay, so Q, boom, we just did that all at once. So if I press here,
basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news.
Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna add another cut here. Okay, just gonna make this bigger, zoom in here the timeline so I can see it a little bit better. Perfect news. Okay, I make a breath right there, and then Q again, so it will take the video right here. Boom.
Based on the LinkedIn is good news. Based on the LinkedIn expert Justin Welch.
Okay, another breath right there. And you want to keep the flow of the video. You don't want to make it like, you know, cut anywhere between the voice. That's why you can see the waves right here. So let's add a cue right there.
Posting generic content like quick tips, how to.
Okay, let me do that again because I think it's a little bit harsh.
LinkedIn expert Justin Welch. Posting generic content like quick tips, how to's, or even.
Okay, that was a little bit fast. I didn't like it, so we can undo that.
Welch. Posting generic.
So I'm not gonna add that thing.
Welsh. Posting generic content like quick tips, how-tos, or even ChatGPT generated content doesn't work anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Perfect. And then I'm gonna add another edit here. And basically this is what you want to do, guys.
Work anymore. What's working right now?
Just keep in the flow. Don't make a harsh cut. Okay, don't make it a harsh cut. I see that is like a common mistake I've seen on some people who watch my tutorials and some people on the Discord. So, you know, just keep it chill. So
That means
make another one here.
when you overcome it.
And yeah, I'm just gonna continue to do this. I don't want to make the tutorial so long, or this segment of the tutorial so long, so I'm just gonna do that for the rest of the video. Try to keep it at a 40, at least 50 seconds maximum, and then I'm gonna show you guys the end result. Okay, perfect, guys. So I have finished, and as you can see here, the time of the video is 43 seconds. Okay, I was able to take it down to 43 seconds with the stuff that matters on the video. Okay, so I'm gonna play it just for you guys to see all the trims that I made and how the video flows. Sometimes it doesn't flow as I wanted, but don't worry, it's because we're gonna use some overlays and some animations to, you know, just make a little bit of makeup to the video. All right.
Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news. Based on the LinkedIn expert Justin Welsh, posting generic content like quick tips, how-tos, or even ChatGPT generated content doesn't work anymore. What's working right now is essence. Now, let me actually tell you what that means. When you overcome a challenge or you solve a problem in your life, you gain genuine expertise and insights. But it is only when people see that you overcome a challenge that they want to solve, when they truly connect with you. There is a system to share your insights and expertise in an original and honest way. I call it the online ecosystem, and I just recorded a video explaining how it works. If you want the video, just comment the word system and I will send it over to you.
Okay, perfect. So that is the video. Again, 43 seconds. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a solid video that we can edit within this tutorial. I know this tutorial is going to be a lot longer than the tutorial I recorded about CapCut, but obviously it's going to be that way because After Effects and Premiere Pro is just more stuff that we can do, more things that we can do, and you know, all those things. So I hope you guys are liking the tutorial so far. And right now what we're gonna do is now we're gonna export that these little trims and you know, cuts that we did. But before we do that, we still need to do the color correction. So hear me out, or just take a look at how we're gonna do the color correction. We are gonna go here, we're gonna right click and create a new item. All right, it's going to be an adjustment layer. So an adjustment layer is something that we can use to apply any effects to the adjustment layer, and then the adjustment layer is going to affect everything that is below it. Okay, so it's good to use it for color correction purposes, because instead of us going and color correcting for every single clip, okay, even though we could do that and copy and paste the same settings to other clips, it's just way easier to do it with an adjustment layer. So just for you to see, guys, how I'm going to do this, I'm going to drag this here, okay, the adjustment layer, and now we're gonna go here to the adjustment layer and we're gonna go to the lumetric color. If you don't see that, go on window, go to lumetric color and activate it. Okay, once it's activated, then we have access to the basic color correction, and these are the things that we're going to start playing around with. So just play around with this, don't overdo it. Okay, I see some people, this is another common mistake with people, over color correct the clips and it just doesn't look good. Okay, so just do it in a subtle way, don't overdo it. Okay, now on exposure, I'm gonna do a little bit of exposure here, maybe less exposure than the contrast. You can move these around to see what these are and just move them a little bit around. Highlights, I'm gonna do them, increase that a little bit. Shadows, decrease that just a little bit again. Whites, okay, let me see whites. We can just keep whites as it is, or maybe decrease it a little bit. Okay, and then we can also add just a little bit of binet, so we can add a little bit of that as well, just a tiny bit, maybe one. And then the reason why I made the adjustment layer a little bit, you know, not the size of the whole timeline, is because I wanna, you know, compare both clips like this. That is not with the adjustment layer. And then let me mute this so we don't hear my voice. And then the color correction, as you guys can see at the right, that is the color correction we just did. So I like that. I'm gonna leave it like that. Just gonna increase the adjustment layer, and as you can see, we now have the whole video with the color correction, with the audio, with the trims and cuts. So now we're gonna export that. So in the timeline here, okay, basic content, you can even select the thing here, okay, but it's important to be here. We're gonna export it, okay, and now just put it a name, whatever name that you want to put it. Honestly, I want to call this the trimmed version, okay, or you can call it prepared version, because this video has been prepared, this reel has been prepared, and now we're gonna save it as well on the renders folder of the same folder that we have been using. Save it, and then 1080 render, maximum depth, maximum render quality, entire source, and then we'll go ahead and export it. Okay, again, it's gonna take some time here, but after that is done, we now have the prepared video that we're gonna be using for animations and all those things. Okay, so with that being said, guys, we just wait a little bit here. Once it's done, we go to the Finder. It's been successfully created, and now we can take a look at that. Oh, I made a mistake here. Hope you guys don't do the same mistake. I'm gonna delete this. So I'm gonna minimize this, and I didn't unmute this, so just be careful with that. Just unmute it and do the whole process again. So I need to rename this, and it's good that I do some mistakes so you guys can see and be careful about it as well. So everything is fine. I just click export and wait again. Okay guys, so in this segment of this module, we will be learning about how to ideate and edit, because I believe this is a really important part when it comes to being efficient as a video editor. Not only that, but also as a content creator. Okay, if you're doing this for yourself, for your own project, and you're editing your own videos, as a content creator, this is crucial, because again, the message is the most important thing on a video, and we want to make it easy for our audience to understand the message that we want to communicate. So having a good ideation before we even start editing, it's very important. So that's why I wanted to teach this little section here. It's going to be a short segment, so let's actually get started. Now that we have the footage ready to edit, okay, we just, on the previous module or segment, we just prepared the footage. Okay, now we want to brainstorm the things that we want to create within the video. Now there are several things that we can ideate during the video, so sometimes you can just leave it alone with captions. That's totally fine. Sometimes you will want to ideate an animation, sometimes just text, another animation with b-rolls, just b-rolls alone, or images, the speaker with text, or the speaker with captions or icons and images. Okay, these are just some of the examples that you can do, but obviously there are more things than these. Okay, these are just some examples. So what I mean by you know, defining something like this on every segment is actually this. So for example, here on the timeline of Premiere Pro, when we did the cuts and the trims and pretty much everything, every trim and every cut created a new segment. Okay, so for example, this is the hook. So let me just scroll a little bit here, zoom in. This is the hook. This is the next segment after the hook. Then let me just zoom out again. This is another segment right here, another one, another one, another one, and another one, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what I mean by segments. Okay, every one of those is a segment, and then for those segments, we want to ideate something. Okay, maybe in one segment you want only text and the other one a background animation. You guys get the point, right? Now, the second most important thing is setting productivity blocks. So to speed up our workflow and be as efficient as possible, it's important to set blocks of work for specific purposes. Now, what I mean by this is that, for example, if you are preparing like several videos, so for example, if you record like 5 to 10 videos and you are preparing the videos, you want to do them all at once, okay? Because you are already in that mindset of just doing trims, color correction, cuts, organizing everything in folders. So, you know, why would you only prepare one video and then ideate it and then edit it? You know, it just kind of like, you can do it that way, but it just takes more time when instead you can go ahead and prepare all the videos at once, ideate all the videos at once, and then once everything is just set up and prepared, you can just go ahead and start editing every individual video, and it's going to be 10 times faster for you. Okay, so that's what I mean by setting productivity blocks and actually dividing your work by different blocks for different purposes, okay, when it comes to editing the video. Now, this is whether you are editing for yourself or for a client. Let's say that a client sends 15 reels that you need to edit, so you want to prepare, you know, all the reels first, then you want to organize them on folders and everything, then you want to ideate those, and so on and so forth. Okay, I think you guys get the point. So again, you prepare everything, then you can review the videos. And something important, something that I do, I draw on my tablet or notebook a rough idea of how the edit will look like. It's just a rough idea, okay? Then once you have a clear idea of what you want to do within the video, you can finally start editing, okay? So before you edit, define all the assets, the text, the backgrounds, the icons. I'm gonna show you how to do this in the next modules, but you want to define pretty much everything, and go on Google, go on different websites and download. I use Canva, you guys are gonna see. And then once the draft is ready with all the backgrounds and all the pieces that you're gonna be using, we will just need to animate and add effects, and that's it, okay? And when we start editing video, it is crucial to maintain the content style when we add things to the video. So just a quick note, don't overthink it. We are just creating the very first draft of the video. Okay, so let me actually go here, and what I mean by ideating is you want to go through every segment, you want to play it just a couple times, and on your mind start thinking about what are the ideas that you can do for that specific segment. So I did it here on my tablet. As you can see, this is an example. On the hook, I will put some text. On the next segment, I call it generate content. It's going to be an on-screen animation and full screen animation. On-screen is when you have the speaker, okay, and the animation is on screen. Full screen is when you have like a background or something. So it's going to be an on-screen animation with Justin Welch, just an image, and then a 3D effect with a null object. Don't worry, you guys are going to see what I mean by that. And having a background, a couple, you know, text box and stuff like that. Then the word essence on this one. Then on this segment is going to be a full screen, 2 scenes, 3D cameras you guys are going to see with different angles. Then another segment on screen text animation. Then full screen with a 3D camera, and I'm making some notes as well. Okay, so I'm making some notes, kind of like just drawing what I will need on that specific segment, and making some notes. XP icon moves along the path, camera zooms out, the online ecosystem. I'm gonna have like a long video behind myself, behind the speaker, the online ecosystem, and then just a call to action. So based on that, all those segments here, 1, 2, 3, are just these little segments here, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. That's what I mean by ideating. And guys, this has been so helpful for me because I'm able to think about, this takes me like 15 minutes, and I'm able to think about how I really want to show the message that I'm trying to communicate with my audience in the best way possible. And once that is clear, I can just go ahead and on the software and start doing the magic. Okay, so with that being said, now we can actually just save this, quit Premiere Pro. We're gonna close Premiere Pro for now, and we're gonna start moving into After Effects. So that's for this little short segment of the module. Now we're gonna learn about, you know, how to create an After Effects template on the next segment. Okay guys, so welcome to this little segment. Here is where we are gonna be creating the template on After Effects. Now we're getting into the good stuff, okay, but bear with me, okay, bear with me. I know we haven't started editing yet, but that's because all these things are really important and they have helped me a lot in order to create like high quality video edits, and not only high quality edits, but high quality videos as well, okay? Now, as you can see, this will be really similar to what we did on Premiere Pro. It's just gonna be slightly different in the sense that we are not going to use the video editing assets here. Instead, we're gonna start creating our own assets per se, okay? Because in every video, you're gonna have different animations, okay? Here is where you start getting creative. So that's why we don't really use assets here. We use them on Premiere Pro. Here, we are creating our own stuff, okay? Yes, we're gonna be downloading some stuff from the internet, things like images. We're gonna download some icons as well, things like that. But for the most part, we're gonna be creating the backgrounds, the text, the boxes, the you know, the shapes and all those things. Now, we also wanna do, we're gonna create a project, okay? And you wanna create the project for, again, either your Reels, YouTube videos, ads, whatever it is that you're gonna edit, okay? Just make sure you create the project for the specific thing. Now, I have created one before, but before I show you this one, let's go ahead and create a new project. Now, here's a new project, as you can see, and this is the dashboard of After Effects. Now, I'm not gonna explain everything here because it's gonna be overwhelming, and I just rather go ahead and start creating stuff. And as I create stuff, you guys can start to see how we use things and why we use them, okay? So just really quick, here is where we are gonna be able to see the actual video that we are editing. Here we're gonna be able to create the folders, the templates, and have all the files that we're gonna be using. And this is the timeline, okay? And right here we have things like effects and presets, and alongside other stuff, as you can see. So things like for text and stuff like that, okay? So what we want to do first is we want to create a new folder here, and we want to call it template. All right, perfect. So we have a template. Now, since we are gonna have this template for Reels, we want to do it in 1080p, okay? Just like on the template on Premiere Pro. So once that's done, once you created the folder, you want to right click and you want to import a file. Now, the file that we're going to import is the video that we just prepared, because that one is in 1080p. Perfect. Now, we are going to create a new composition. Here on After Effects is called composition. On Premiere Pro is called sequence, okay? So I'm just gonna drag and drop the video here. And now we have, as you can see, this is the video and this is the composition, and this composition is 1080 by 1920. Those are the dimensions that we want for the template, okay? Those are the dimensions that we want. Now, if I can actually go ahead and delete this video and delete it here because we don't need it anymore. We just needed the dimensions and now we have them. Perfect. Now, one thing that I'm going to create just to show you guys is a new element. So I just right click here, new solid, okay? And this is how we create background. So actually it's going to be a black background, okay? You just name it and it's 1080 by 1920. We choose the color, we can choose whatever color we want here. I'm going to show you how to change it in just a second, but let me click OK here and OK here. Perfect. So we have a background now. Okay, we just created our first background here for the template. Now we are not going to start adding again like the assets that we have. We are not going to add them here. I mean, you can, but it's not necessary. Okay, because for this template we're gonna start to add things to the template as we edit the reels, as we edit more and more videos. This template now is going to be empty, basically it's going to be empty, but as we start editing, as you start to develop your own editing style and content style through the reels that you edit, and the way you get better, and the more you get better, the more things you're going to start adding here to your template. Because for me, the first reel is like you need to do it from scratch, right? You need to do the text, you need to do the backgrounds and pretty much everything. But the second, the third, the fourth reel, at least when I was editing for my client and even for myself, I just went ahead and used the things that I previously created. Obviously not everything, but most of the things, most of the animated text and pretty much, you know, a lot of things, I started to use them on the next reels, and that just made everything faster. Okay, the first reel is gonna take way long than your fifth or your sixth reel. Okay, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So for now, the template is going to be really simple. It's just going to be normal, to be honest with you. Now, just to show you some examples, some things that you can do is add the text. Something that I do when I'm creating like a template here, I add the text for the hook. Okay, so I can call it hook text, and as you can see, it's very small, right? Now I'm gonna make that bigger, but if I make it bigger, look at this, like it's a little bit messy, right? Like I can play around with that, but the way, I'm just gonna undo that, the way we scale this the right way is we can go here on the transform. So you click this little arrow here, transform, okay, and then you can scale that. Okay, this is how we scaled it. All right, and then another way of doing it is just grabbing one corner. Okay, you hold shift and then you scale it. It's way faster to do it this way. But now see what's going on here. Okay, we are scaling this video. Okay, by the way, if you scroll by mistake here, the way you can actually scroll, make this like zoom in, zoom out, but the way you return is going here on fit. Also, like if it gets laggy at some point, you can decrease the quality of this thing. Don't worry, decreasing the quality here won't affect the final render. Okay, just a quick note, but we're gonna just leave it like that. Perfect. Now, as you can see, if I move this little point here, this is called anchor point. Let me scroll. This little circle right here, it's called anchor point. So if I move it, then, for example, if I move it here to the corner, then the text, if I scale it down or up, like, you know, make it smaller, make it bigger, let me actually do it with this and holding shift, is going to scale based on the anchor point. Okay, so if we, like, ideally we want this anchor point to be here on the middle, but instead of actually selecting this thing here and moving here to the middle, that's just not reliable. So what we want to do is we want to select the layer here. Okay, hold command and double click. There we go, perfect, and it will go to the middle. All right, we are going to select here again, and that gives us the ability to move these around. Okay, now if you want to center that, you can also go here to align and center that as you want. Perfect. Now we can also change the text. So I'm using owners, and I can use like this one, for example. Okay, or maybe the black one. Okay, perfect, I like that one. So I'm just preparing here the text for the hook on the template. Okay, so whenever I'm going to edit a reel, I can just go ahead and copy and paste this to the other composition that we're gonna have here, as you're gonna see. Now, something I forgot to do is that the composition is called R3 basic content. We don't want to call it that way. We want to press enter and call it just you know, template. Okay, so it's going to be that, we know that that's going to be the template, okay, with the text and all the elements that we're going to start adding as we start to improve. All right, so you can also play with the position here of the thing. You can start playing with the position here. Let me just undo that, and then with the rotation as well, and with the opacity, as you guys can see. Okay, now this little stopwatch here is how we actually do keyframes. But in order to explain that, let me actually just really simple go here. Okay, so if I press that and hold it with my click on my mouse, or yeah, with a click on your mouse, you're gonna see that you can create several shapes. Now, shapes are things that we're gonna be using a lot, because that's how we want to create like text boxes or just little shapes within any animation, and they are really helpful. Actually, people use them a lot. And right now I want to create a circle, for example. So I don't select anything here. Okay, just make sure nothing is selected here and go ahead and create the shape. Now I'm creating a circle here, but again, it's messy, just like the hook. So I'm gonna hold shift, so I'm going to do it like this. Okay, it's gonna be a perfect circle. All right, so I just create that, and then I can go back here and look at the anchor point of that circle is not in the middle. Okay, it's like here, and again, we don't want it to be there. Like most of the time we want it to be in the middle. All right, awesome. Now look at the color of that circle. It's a little bit weird. For you, it's going to be like a different color. For you, it's going to be like, for example, just a solid color. It's going to be like white. All right, and maybe if you select it, maybe it won't have a stroke, or maybe it will. All right, so that's how we change the colors of the shapes. Actually, here you can go ahead and click here, change the color. I'm gonna just leave it white. And then the stroke, you can increase the stroke here, as you can see, by a lot, or you can decrease the stroke here. Actually, I like how this looks. You know, you can even I don't know if this is possible, but like you can, I don't know if you can create keyframes for this, but anyways, you can change the stroke right there. You can change the color of the stroke. And something that I like to do, and I do a lot, is if you don't click the color, actually click on the word that says fill or a stroke. So if I click there, you're gonna be able to do it either solid or gradient, linear or radial. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a linear gradient, click OK, and if I play around with these little points right here, I can actually just make it gradient, right? And the way I change those colors is with this thing right here. So let me just move that around a little bit, and the first color stop, okay, is this little circle right here. So I'm gonna change it to white, and I'm gonna click OK. Well, not yet. I'm gonna go to the second color stop, which is this one right here, and I'm gonna make it, I don't know, like a little bit, not black, but you know, just a little bit dark. And I can also change this. All right, so basically the location of the thing. So I'm gonna make it maybe I don't know, right there, click OK, and then I can play around with the with these things. I can play around with this one as well. All right, and there you go, we have a gradient ball. All right, and you can do the same for the stroke if you wanted to. For now, I'm just gonna leave it on solid, but again, these are just some basic things that I'm doing just to show you guys a little bit the dashboard, how it works, how we play around with it, and you know, just stuff like that. So here we can also change the name of the shape layers. That is really important because we want to stay organized. So I'm gonna call that circle, and again, here we have transform options and you know, some stuff like that. So I could also explain some, how keyframes work, how we do them, and all this stuff. So just to show you, for example, if we want to do a keyframe, I'm gonna leave that text right there. If I want to create a keyframe, for example, if I want this ball to appear like this, all right, like just from down to top, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to create a keyframe here, okay, and the way we see it is here on this side, all right. So that's where I want the ball to end, so I can grab the keyframe and move it around a little bit. All right, awesome. Now this is the start of the actual timeline or composition, and this is the end of the composition, okay, as you can see. Now this lasts somewhere around 40 something seconds, so I'm gonna put it here. And the way we scroll, like the way we make this bigger or smaller is here. We can make it bigger or smaller. I'm gonna make it somewhere there. I'm gonna play it. Okay, by the way, the length of this thing was according to the video that we used to create the composition in the first place. So if you want to change at some point the length of the template, okay, so you can actually add more things and more layers, you can just go ahead here on template, right click, composition settings, and you can actually set the time to even more. So I don't know, like you could put like 1 minute if you wanted to. So 0 0 0 0 and 1 here. Click OK, and perfect. So now it's going to be 1 minute, as you can see. All right, now these shapes and all those things, they were like the same size as the duration of the previous composition, right? So the way we can make them shorter or longer is by just, going here and make them shorter or longer. You can make them the size of the composition. You can also select two by, holding command. You can select several things. I'm not going to select this one, just those two, make them bigger here. Okay, now another thing, but this is something that I will talk about maybe later, is that this little bar here, okay, this little thing that I'm moving right now, that's the workspace on the timeline, if we can call it that way. I don't really know how to call it, but for example, if I make it, let me just do this here. All right, if I make it this way, all right, then the animation, when I render the animation, is just going to render that space. And if I'm clicking there, it's just going to show me like that little space. Okay, it's not going to show me the entire animation. So whenever you just want to render one specific part of the animation, you can do it that way. Okay, just adjust this, and you whenever you're going to render, as you're gonna see when we render, you're gonna render only that space. But again, we don't really want to do that right now. I'm just explaining here the dashboard a little bit, so I make sure you're not moving it, you're actually just doing it. So perfect. So right now I want to just have the entire composition here, so that's why I'm doing that. Perfect. I'm gonna select here, make it a little bit bigger. And then we were talking about the ball, right? So we want to create a small animation for the ball. We want to go here back, and as we scroll down here, okay, as you can see, we can hold shift if we want to make this like faster. All right, so I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, so now if I click play with the space bar, it's going to do the little animation, as you can see. Okay, and we can create keyframes for scale, for rotation, for opacity. You guys are gonna see how we do it. I don't want this segment to take too long, but I'm just showing you some basic stuff. All right, now the way we actually go ahead and make that, more smooth, because right now it's not as smooth as you can see, is by easing these keyframes. So I right click, and then I can just go ahead on keyframe assistance, and easy in is easy is in or out. Okay, so as you can see, we can also press F9 to do that. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm gonna select both keyframes, Fn, F9 here on my MacBook, and now it's gonna look a lot smoother. Boom, just a little bit smoother. Okay, now the way we can even go ahead and make that even smoother is by clicking here the graph editor. All right, so I click there and it's going to show me this. Now if it doesn't show you this, you can right click and you want to activate this edit speed graph. Okay, because maybe you have it here on value, just edit the speed graph. Now I want to select these two and I can actually play around with this to the point that I'm making a smoother animation, even smoother. Okay, this is the good stuff about After Effects, that you can be as smooth as you want. So take a look at this. Boom, it's way smoother. Okay, I can make it even bigger here, so boom. Okay, the ball is a lot smoother. Right, so those are just some basics. All right, and we are working here on the little, on the little template. For now we're just gonna leave it like this, but just to show you something before we continue, we can actually save that animation so we don't have to do it over and over again. So for example, I can select these two keyframes. All right, well, not the two keyframes, don't select anything. So just select the one that says position. Okay, and in order to save that, we're gonna go here up where it says animation. All right, and we want to save that animation preset. That this is how you create presets. Okay, these are the presets that I included on the full not on the full pack, but on the premium assets. Okay, on like this one. Okay, it says presets included. Those are the presets that I have saved. As you can see here, I have presets for effects, presets for elements, presets for text, and even zoom in and zoom out presets. Okay, all these presets are just keyframes that I have previously created, that whenever I drag and drop these presets onto any element, is going to be applied, and that's how I just edit a lot faster. Okay, because I don't have to do it over and over again. This is how you save it. Okay, you want to create, like, you want to save it where it says like on your computer, it's going to be on Adobe After Effects user presets, and then you can save it there, or you can create a new folder. For example, I can create a new folder here, call it tutorial, create, and then save the preset on the tutorial folder, and I can call it, be really intentional on how you call the presets. For example, this one is like the ball is doing a slide up. Okay, but it's a sliding up. Okay, so I'm gonna call that one slide in up. All right, perfect. So once that's done, I click save, and boom, we have the preset. So I'm gonna just delete this really quick, delete it. I'm gonna position the plate head at the beginning or where I want the preset to start. So in this case, I'm just gonna put it on the very beginning, and then on effects here. So if we go to effects, I can actually go ahead and search for the slide in, and I have created some before, as you can see, but here on the tutorial I can go ahead and drag and drop that one into the circle, and now we have that animation preset. For example, if I want to do it to the text, I can also go ahead and apply it to the text. But look at the plate head. The plate head is right here. Okay, it's right here. So if I apply it, it's going to apply that one to the text right there. Okay, and it's going to take the same parameters of the position of the ball. Okay, so in case we want to edit that because we want the text to end here, not there, I'm just gonna click U here on the circle, so it just shows the keyframes. But I'm gonna completely like just hide everything, and I'm gonna click U. Okay, the key U, boom, on here, and it's gonna show me the keyframes okay, because I just added the preset. I just added this preset and that created these keyframes. Now if I want to edit the position of the end keyframe or the end position, I can just select the position, make sure the playhead is here, and then select that, hold shift, so I can move it like, you know, it doesn't move to everywhere, it actually moves like, you know, in this frame here, and I can put it right there. So now boom, the hook text is going to be right there. And this is how you create presets, guys. So with that being said, hope this little segment wasn't too long, but I think you guys are starting to understand like how we use After Effects, different keyframing. Don't worry, as we continue with the tutorial, you're gonna see like more stuff. For now, I'm just gonna keep it there, and we can move on to the next module. It's gonna take some time to realize. Hey. Okay guys, so it's morning. I'm just you know, excited to keep recording these tutorials. So let's actually go ahead and get started here, okay? So on this segment, we are going to open After Effects. I don't know why I started this one singing, but anyways, okay, we open After Effects, all right? And we have the projects. Now, what we want to do right there is, well, you want to obviously open the project of the template that you created previously, but I want to show you the one that I have created for my reels so far. Okay, so as you can see, we see a lot of things, a lot of layers, elements, big timeline, some, you know, elements here as well. Don't worry, okay? It's just, I just wanted to show you the progress that I've been able to build so far, okay? And this is not all the progress, because I switched from Windows to MacBook, and when I did that, I kind of lost a lot of things, so I had to rebuild it again. That's why I only have like 2 reels here, but that doesn't mean that I have only edited 2 reels on After Effects. I have edited more, but on MacBook just 2, okay? And obviously I have edited more for one of my clients that I had before, okay, on the past. So with that being said, just wanted to quickly show you my template and how, as I do things here, okay, I am adding like text for the hooks and text for the subtitles, and then a shadow. What else do we have here? Okay, we have like some boxes with different colors that I can just, again, go ahead and drag and drop to other compositions in order to use them. Okay, I have a background, and I have actually created another composition with backgrounds, right? So on this composition, I have a black background, another background here, and another one here, and so on and so forth. Okay, actually this is the one that I used to create these are the backgrounds that I share on the premium assets. Okay, perfect. So with that being said, guys, that's my template, right? I have like the template with text, some icons that I can use several times, for example, and text, and then also I have backgrounds, and as you can see, I will explain this a little bit more later, but I have these timelines here, or not timelines but compositions. Look at this, like there's a lot of things going on here, a lot of keyframes, but don't worry guys, we are going to start learning how to do that. And right now it seems overwhelming, but don't worry. And then I have another composition. So what I'm going to do now, okay, obviously for you guys it's going to be empty. You're only going to have the template and that's it. So for you, what you're gonna do and what we're gonna do right now as we start to edit the video, we're gonna create a new folder again for every reel that we're going to start editing. We're gonna create a new folder, so that's gonna be basic. Well, I'm just calling this one's R3 Pablo. Okay, perfect. So R3 Pablo, and on that one I want to right click, import a file, and we're gonna import what is this? Okay, so let me go to red tag, Pablo Reels, basic content, and renders, and we're going to import the one that we have prepared. Okay, kind of like similar to what we did on the template, but now we are actually going to start editing that one. Okay, now I'm gonna right click that one and I'm gonna create a new composition from that clip. So we have a new composition and it's called R3 basic content prepared. Okay, we can change that name so it's a little bit shorter. So remember, just select the composition right here, click enter, and we're gonna call it R3 main. Okay, and the reason why is because you're gonna see at the end. Okay, this thing is gonna get a lot of things. So as we have a lot of things here, we're gonna quickly recognize what's the main timeline at the end. Okay, but don't worry about that yet. Just call it main or just a short name. Perfect. So we have the video. Okay, and we now can go ahead and start editing the reel. Okay, the hook, the segments, all that stuff, the animations. But before we actually go ahead and do that, okay, we can do an important step here. Okay, so for example, here on my drawings, okay, sometimes I will use maybe some text behind myself behind the speaker, and I will, in this segment, I will use a loom video behind myself. So that means that we need to do some rotoscoping here on After Effects. Basically, rotoscoping is taking the speaker. Okay, it's like the cutout feature on CapCut, where you take the speaker, all right, and you separate it from the background, so you can put things between the background and the speaker, so it looks like something is behind yourself. Okay, so that's called rotoscoping here in After Effects, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. In order to do that, we need to duplicate this. Okay, so where do I duplicate this? Okay, the way I usually do it is Command D. Okay, in Windows is Control D, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so you go ahead and duplicate it. And the reason why we duplicate it is because we're going to select the second clip, all right, and we're gonna select this little icon here that says Roto Brush. Okay, we're gonna select it, and then we're gonna double click on the video. All right, perfect. So now I can just go ahead and close this for now, and right now I have like a little pointer here, all right, as you guys can see, and I have selected the duplicated clip, so I'm on a different like window here. A different window just pop up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a line. Okay, it doesn't have to be a perfect line, just just drawing a normal line here, to the subject that we want to do the rotoscoping to. So for example, I want to do that. Okay, perfect. So as we can see, if we scroll and zoom in, it took some of the parts that I don't want to take for the roto brush. Okay, as you can see, I want my finger to be part of the roto brush, and I don't want these things to be part of the roto brush. So the way we fix that is by holding Option on MacBook. Okay, try to test it. For those of you who are on Windows, try to test it out. I don't remember exactly what was the key, but on MacBook is holding Option, so you're gonna see like a little minus right there. Okay, so we're gonna draw a line right there. Okay, perfect. And now with the space bar, you can actually, while you are holding the space bar, you can do this. Okay, then we want to do that for this as well. So Option, and I want to draw a line right here because I want that to be part maybe a little bit more here. Okay, that's fine. And then we're gonna do the same for this one here, right? Where we are taking those out. All right, perfect. And maybe I want the ear to be a little bit more, so we do a little bit right there. I don't want this to be here. Okay, perfect. And my finger, I want it to be part of the rotor brush. I don't want this thing to be part of the rotor brush either, so there you go. Okay, I think we're doing some good here. Option, and do this one right here. Okay, perfect. So I think we're good. Okay, don't get too caught up into this thing. Mainly what we want to do is we want to have the speaker. Okay, the speaker. Perfect. So once that's done, okay, once that is done, you want to freeze this. Okay, because if we don't do that, then you might get laggy and everything. So we want to freeze that. Okay, and it's gonna take some times to freeze everything. Okay, so we're gonna wait now. Okay, perfect, guys. So as we can see, it has been frozen. Okay, that means that now we can go back and continue editing, start to do the animations, and pretty much do everything as usual. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to close that. Okay, well, first I'm gonna save it. Okay, Command S, and then I am going to fit this here and close this one. Now, where do we have the the thing again? Like, it's not showing up. Don't worry, you just have to double click this. Okay, but not in the roto brush. It's gonna open the roto brush again. Don't worry, we can just go ahead and close that again. And the project, the main timeline, there you go. Okay, perfect. So it can be a little bit confusing to get back to the composition again, but that's how we do it. Okay, I got confused for just a second right there, but perfect. We have it. Okay, now we have it. It's been frozen, and if I actually go ahead and deactivate this one, as you can see, we have this video. Okay, we have this video, and it's only myself. All right, so that's how we rotoscope. That's how we get rid of the background. And later on, whenever we want to put something between myself and the background, like the Loom video that I'm talking about in this segment, or maybe these letters here, I can go ahead and do that by putting a layer. So let me do it really quick. So let's say that this box, okay, I want to put this layer between these two. So if I activate this again, we have a element between myself and the background. Perfect. I'm going to delete that, and it is very important that we deactivate the audio from the duplicated clip. Deactivate the audio. Why? Because it has happened to me that, I don't know, one day After Effects was lagging a lot and I just didn't know what it was. I was deactivating the effects, like everything. I was lowering the quality of the composition, and it was lagging a lot. And it was because due to the fact that the two audios from the two clips were activated, it was just lagging. So I don't know, it happened. So I learned that you just need to deactivate the audio if you have two clips that are pretty much the same. Okay, so we deactivate the audio, and now we have the rotoscoped reel and clip and the original one. All right, so for now, guys, that's it for this mini segment of the tutorial. And with the rotoscope, we can do it at the beginning, or we can do it at the end. Now, it has its own pros and cons. So if we do it at the beginning, just like we did right now, then if we do like a zoom in and zoom out to the main video, we will need to do the same zoom ins and zoom outs to the rotoscoped video. Okay, because obviously we want it to be matching. If we do a zoom out, you guys are gonna see, okay, but if we do a zoom in, zoom outs, we need to apply it to both clips. Just keep that in mind. I'm gonna show you how to do it, and I'm also going to explain why it's good to also do the rotoscoping at the end. Okay, but for now, we're just gonna leave it like that, and we can move on to the next segment right now. Okay guys, so welcome to this segment, and in this one we are going to start adding all the assets, all the things that we are going to be editing on the animations. Okay, here is where we actually start to get into the good stuff, because now is where we are going to actually start editing. All right, so in order to do that, we need to actually go back to our drawing, okay, and start to see all the things that all the notes that we made. Okay, so for example, just to do it quickly, on the first segment we have basic content is dying. Okay, so we have text, so you want to just go ahead and simply add some text. Okay, so it said something like basic, so let me do it again, so basic content. All right, and I don't know why it's so small. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, so basic content, and I'm gonna hold command and just anchor point that to the middle, and we have basic content. Okay, so I have edited some videos before, that's why I already have this. Okay, I already have this owner's text. By the way, I'm getting these texts from Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, remember Adobe Creative Cloud, this is where I'm getting these text owners. Okay, and then we have a bunch of options here that we can play around, so that's where I'm getting the the thing for the hook, if that makes sense. So all right, perfect. So with that being said, I already have that text. All right, so for you guys, you want to go ahead and obviously use the text for your brand. Okay, on the editing signature style that you created, you chose some text, and you know, you brainstorm some ideas, so that's the text that you want to use. For now, just make sure you add some text. Don't worry about like choosing the style for now, just leave it like that. And then I'm gonna do another one. I can duplicate that one actually, so Command D, I can move it below, and then I can just change it for I think it is dying, right? Something like that. So I can go back to my drawing. Okay, basic content is dying. Okay, perfect. So for this one, I'm going to use a different letter here. So is dying is gonna be this one, regular. Okay, so I'm gonna choose that one, and I can even make it a little bit bigger here. So basic content is dying. I think I can change that one for like not regular, but no, we're gonna leave it on regular. And then okay, here, perfect, we can deactivate that. All right, perfect. So we're just, you know, building here, we're just adding the elements. I can choose that and align it to the center as well. So basic content is dying. Okay, so that's going to be the hook, and we also have like a small highlight. All right, so let me show you how to actually do that highlight. So the way we're going to do that is with or by creating a line. So the way we create a line is with the pen tool. I click one point, okay, and then I click another point here. Perfect. So we just created a line. All right, so I'm gonna go back to this and change the name of that to not line but highlight. Okay, perfect. So we have the highlight, and highlight is gonna be below this word, because it's going to be a highlight for that word. Okay, and now I'm going to take that and I can play around with that a little bit. As you can see, the anchor point is here, is not in the middle, so I'm going to center the anchor point to the actual thing. And as you can see, guys, this line right here is black, but I want it to be like red, something like that. Okay, so I change the color of the stroke, and then I can make it bigger as well. All right, And now I can even make this like a little bit like this, as you can see. Okay, so we can change it a little bit. What are these points? Why are these points here? Let me see, because I think this is stroke. Yeah, it's a solid one. I don't know what are these points. Why are these points here, to be honest? But let's just ignore them. Let's just, you know, leave it there. Okay, perfect. So we have the little line right here. As you can see, we can make it, you know, bigger. We can make it, you know, the size that we want. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it simple. Just gonna keep it like that. Okay, so basic content is done. All right, perfect. Again, we are just creating the elements, doing pretty much everything. The second segment we have is Justin Welch. So we need a Justin Welch and then a background with some boxes and stuff like that. All right, perfect. So let me fit this again. We're gonna start to save things, and for the next segment we need a Justin Welch. So let's actually play that.
Basic content is dying, but let me actually tell you why that is good news.
Okay, so here is where the hook ends. All right, so now I'm going to add Justin Welch right there. So the way we do that is we go on Chrome, and I can be like Justin Welch. So images, Justin Welch. Okay, so I'm thinking about using, well, this one seems to be like the best one. Make sure it's like good quality, the image that you're getting. Then I can put it on Canva and just create an Instagram story on Canva and then paste that. And then you can call this like, I don't know, real, I call it real elements. But since I already have that, you know, that name, Reels tutorial, I'm gonna call it. Okay, just put in a name so you're not confused. Reels tutorial. And then here we can remove the background. It's gonna remove the background. Perfect. We can make it a little bit like even bigger here, right? Okay, perfect. So we have Justin Welch. We're going to go and download that. So with a transparent background, so we download it. And keep in mind what I'm gonna do here, because I am going to save this into the Pablo Reels basic content, which is the folder we're working here on the tutorial, and save it on images. Okay, and click save. All right, perfect. So now that we are on the images side of things, now that we are here on Canva and on Google Chrome, we're gonna take advantage of that and see if there are any more images that we need to download. So we downloaded Justin Welch. We're gonna use Justin Welch here. Then we need some text boxes. Okay, it seems like I don't need an image here. Then the word essence, 3D cameras. Okay, so I need like my profile picture here. So that's another image, but that's gonna be a picture of myself. So I already have it. I don't need to download anything. And then it says here some icons, but I didn't make the note of what type of icons, but I remember what type of icons. I want to have like a CapCut here, Instagram, YouTube, and Gumroad, because those were the things that allowed me to go from 0 to 1K. Okay, to my first 1K and my first 10K. So I want to represent that, and since I want to do that, I am going to use some icons relating to Gumroad and stuff like that. Okay, so in order to do that, I need those icons, and I also need this XP icon. Okay, because I'm talking about getting experience and insights, something like that. So now that I know about that, I can go ahead and just delete Justin Welch. It's fine, we already have it. And we talk about the icons, right? So icons and XP. All right, so let's actually get the XP first. Elements, I don't know, XP. Okay. All right, so we have an XP here, and you can try to find more if you want to. But honestly, I'm gonna use that one. I like that one, so I'm going to download it, make it transparent, download, and I'm gonna save it. It says there is only one image or graphic. Oh, okay, so sometimes it happens to Canva where you need to add more elements than the thing. So for that, just add a point here and put it anywhere, I don't know, like here, and then just go on transparency and decrease the transparency to like 1. And there you go. Okay, we now have the element and we can download it, transparent, download, and we're gonna save it as XP icon on the same folder, on images, on the same folder. So this one's saved as real tutorial. I need to change the name. I forgot to change the name for that one, so I'm gonna quickly go onto my files. So files, red. Okay, let's just change that name really quick, because if not, it's gonna be with this name, Justin Welsh. Okay, I forgot to change the name of that one. But anyways, I'm gonna just, you know, minimize this, go back here, and we got the XP. Also insights, I talked about insights. So for example, a gem for me is like an insight. It represents something that I know, and I can even search for 3D gem. Okay, perfect. So, and we have several here, and so as you can see, I can use this one. I really like this one. I have used it before, actually. So I'm gonna use that one, and I'm going to. I can use. Actually, since here's the things, we want to keep like the style of the things, right? So since I'm using like a black and white XP icon, I want to keep that branding. Okay, so Justin Welsh picture is also like he's, you know, with a black shirt, so we are trying to keep the style here on the black color. And since we're doing that, I'm gonna download this one. Okay, download, transparent, and this is what I mean by not doing like a lot of things, right? So gem, I'm gonna call it gem icon, and save it on images and save. Okay, so when you're editing, you don't want to have like a lot of colors and stuff like that. It's not necessary. Like, keep the branding of the thing that you're doing, right? So I don't know why it can seem to hide this, but anyways, what else? Let me minimize this and go back here. Okay, we got the XP. Okay, the icons, perfect. So for the icons, what I can do is I can go here and search for actually, let me see if on Canva we can do that. So 3D, and the first thing I did was like CapCut. Okay, but actually, now that I remember, I have used an icon before here on Canva. So like this one, I got it from Google as well. Okay, so now I can just, you know, download this, cut it, and that I'm gonna use that one. So download it, transparent background, download. Okay, CapCut icon. All right, save it, and then we do the same for, like, what was the next one? Okay, Instagram. So just to show you on the full pack, now that I remember, obviously, on the full pack of editing assets, I have some icons, social media icons, and I have some icons from like the Instagram Reels, the YouTube, and so I'm gonna take those. I also have the CapCut one here, as you can see. So you can go ahead and find them on, if you got the full pack, you're gonna have them. If you don't, you can go on Google and download them using Canva as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy these, and I'm going to go to the folder, basic content, images, and I'm gonna paste them here. Instagram Reels, YouTube 3D. All right, perfect. So I'm just missing Gumroad. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do Gumroad 3D, because we're using 3D icons. So Gumroad 3D icon. Let's see if we can find it. This one is going to be a little bit difficult, but let's actually use this one. I think this one is going to be a solid one. This is the one that we can use. So copy image, go here, paste it, and we're gonna just wait a little bit to remove the background. And there you go, Gumroad, perfect. So download transparent background, and this is how you wanna do things, guys. Like, it doesn't take too much time. We're just gathering all the images. Now that we are here, Gumroad icon, we're just gathering and downloading all the stuff that we need all at once. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing. We got the XP, the insights, and the icons. Okay, try to connect. Okay, so this is text. This is let me see. Okay, my profile picture, the XP icon, which we already have, and then some numbers with balls. We already have. We can create those on After Effects, so don't worry. And then we need a Loom video, okay, that I have recorded previously. Then some text, and then some text as well. So we're just missing the Loom video. And just to show you, this is a Loom video that I recorded previously. About the lead magnet that I'm talking about. It's called How to Monetize Your Skills. So I'm gonna download that one, and I'm going to how to monetize, like, I'm just gonna call it Loom video, and I'm gonna save it not on the images one, but just on the basic content folder. Okay, so Loom video by Pablo. Okay, that's how I'm gonna call it. Don't worry, I will also leave this on the Google Drive folder with all the footage that you guys need to download for this tutorial. So I'm gonna save it right there. Okay, and yeah, there we go, perfect. So I think we have pretty much everything downloaded, all the images that we need. So I can minimize this, and look what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go to the folder, right click, import, and I'm going to import multiple files. And if we go to the Pablo Reels basic content images, open that one, and let me click cancel here. Okay, there we go, perfect. So we have the CapCut, the Gem, the Gumroad, the Justin, the XP, the YouTube. We have pretty much all the images that we will need. Okay, so since the next segment starts here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click images, I'm gonna go to Justin Welch, drag and drop it, and then I'm gonna make it you know, cut it in a way where he will start here. Okay, boom, based on the expert Justin Welch, and let's actually continue to play here.
Based on the LinkedIn expert Justin Welch.
Okay, it's somewhere here. Somewhere here is where we do the transition. So we go from Justin Welch with the speaker, which is me, on the frame, to a background. Okay, to a background. So let me actually go ahead and show you how to create that background. So new, solid, okay, and what color is going to be this background? It can be white, it can be based on my content style, I want to use either blue, red. Okay, it can be red just because we're talking about a problem here. So it could be red, if that makes sense. So let's call it red background. Okay, so red background, we make the color here, and it's gonna be not like a hard red, but rather like a darker one. Okay, perfect. So we have the red thing right here, and just to make it, we can make that bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna make it bigger because I will explain just in a few minutes, but we're gonna make that bigger, and we're gonna make it here. So we have Justin Welch, and I want to rotate this. So the way we rotate it, how can I rotate the background? Doesn't give me like an option. Oh, I can actually go here, select the red background, and instead of me going to the transform options and everything, I can just go ahead and rotate it right away here. So we can rotate it to, let's just go ahead and put the number 90. Okay, and then we can make it bigger. Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like a movement of the background, where the background is gonna move like this. Okay, it's gonna start here, and then it's gonna move like this, and like here, and then like this. Okay, with keyframes. We're gonna do that with keyframes. I'm gonna show you, but for now, let me just actually make this bigger. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video right now because I gotta take a break, but yeah, I'm gonna continue with another one. We're gonna continue like adding more stuff as well. Okay guys, so that was a long break I took, but anyways, let's continue here. All right, let's continue here, because as we are building things, so we have the, let me just fit this again. We're building the hook, we're building the next segment, okay, which is about Justin Welch and the background with all these, you know, with a text, with tips, how-tos, ChatGPT doesn't work, okay, all these things. Perfect. So we already have Justin Welch, and the second thing that I'm gonna build within this frame, within this segment, is a normal text. Okay, so I don't select anything here. Okay, I don't select anything there, and I'm going to just go ahead and create a new text, and the name of that text is going to be generic, or it's going to say generic content. Okay, so generic content. Keep in mind that whenever you guys create a new text, remember that yours is going to be different, okay, depending on the fonts that you have used within After Effects. I have used, oh, what happened here? I'm just trying to make this bigger. This is why it's so important. Let me just undo this. This is why it's so important to bring the anchor point to the center, so that doesn't happen. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again. Okay, and for this one, I'm gonna use the one that says relation. Remember, I'm getting these from the Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, so if I actually show you, if you go to Adobe Creative Cloud, this is Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, you want to go to Adobe Fonts, and then you want to browse fonts. This will take you to adobe.com, to your account, and here you can find a lot of some like really good fonts. So for example, I found relation here on brush pen, and then I just add just like this bottom here, I add the family of the font that I want, and it will be automatically added to my Adobe Creative Cloud. So Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects are going to read those fonts. All right, perfect. So with that being said, as you can see guys, if I click this, I don't know if I already explained this, sometimes I forget, but if we click this on shortcuts, if we click this thing right here, okay, we are going to be able to make this bigger. So boom, just like that. Okay, again, as I'm recording this, I don't know if I already explained this or not, but you know, just keep that in mind. Perfect. So generate content, and then the next thing that we want to do, I'm gonna take Justin Welch, just put it a little bit here, is a text box. Okay, because we are using some boxes here, as we can see. So I'm gonna just zoom this in a little bit more. So something that said a text box and something that says tips. Perfect. So I'm gonna get the rounded rectangle, and I'm gonna make, okay, make sure I don't select anything here, and make a rounded rectangle. So it's gonna be something like this. All right, maybe, yeah, maybe like this. Okay, I think this is a solid one. And then I'm gonna select this and go back here. The anchor point is on the center, and for me the stroke is good, so I'm gonna call this text box. Okay, perfect. So text box, and then I want to make that gradient, so I'm gonna make it gradient, and then I can choose the colors here. So I'm gonna choose white, and I'm gonna choose another one which is gonna be a bit darker, which is gonna be that one. And then I can take these points here and play around with those to something that I like. Okay, so for example, maybe here, I like this, I like something like this. Okay, so as you can see, we click and we take a look at this. It's looking pretty solid, to be honest. It's looking pretty solid. So now I want a text for the text box, okay, because here it says tips. Okay, I think I say something around the lines of generic tips, so let me see.
Posting generic content like quick tips.
Okay, I say quick tips, right? So I'm gonna create a new text. All right, I'm gonna create a new text here, and I'm gonna call it quick tips. And as you guys can see, it is small, so I'm going to make it bigger. Just fit it in right there, so a little bit bigger, fit it in. Okay, I actually like that, so let me see. All right, perfect. Maybe just a little bit. Let me anchor that to the center again. And quick tips. Okay, I like it. I think it's pretty solid. So look, one thing that we are going to do here, I'm gonna save this. Okay, remember to continue to save your progress. You never know what can happen. So if I get the box, okay, and if I want to move the box, the text won't follow the box. Okay, by the way, let me center the anchor point of the box. All right, perfect. So on that case, what we want to do is we want to parent the text, which is quick tips. I'm gonna just close this. So quick tips, I'm going to parent that to the text box. Okay, so you just do it by dragging this little thing here and dropping that into the text box. And now if I grab the text, I can move it around, I can animate it, I can do whatever I want, and the text will follow the box. Okay, perfect. So we also need here like the line, right? Like this little line. We obviously need other boxes and other text, but for now we're just creating the very, like the, you know, the very draft. So later on, when we start animating everything, you guys are gonna see, that's when we can actually just go ahead and you know, duplicate everything and animate everything. But for now, if we want, we can just leave it like that. We will duplicate it later on. Okay, and now I'm just missing the line here. So this little line, I'm gonna do it. So in order to do that line, I want to, let me see how we can do it. I'm gonna take Justin Welch in this case. I'm gonna move it a little bit. Okay, don't worry, we will you know, we will position it the right way later. And I'm gonna take, like, I'm not going to select anything, and I'm gonna grab this pen tool. Okay, so I want to make a line here. Okay, so a point here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna draw, like, I'm gonna click and hold, because that way I can create a line. Okay, so just a tiny line, just like that, and then another one, and hold. Okay, so I can create another line, which is gonna be like this maybe. Okay, and then I can, if you don't like how it looks, don't worry, you can like select this and move it a little bit. Right, and we can move this as well. So there you go. Now, one thing that I don't like to do on lines is to have the fill color. So we're just going to deactivate the fill color on that one. We're going to increase here the stroke of the line. All right, maybe 15, it's fine. I'm gonna click away, and I don't know, I'm not sure about that line. By the way, I'm gonna change the name, so it's gonna be curved line again, just to keep organization of everything. I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna center the point. I'm gonna select the pen tool to the curved line, and I want to edit that one. So let me see, content, shape. Okay, I want to, how do I do it? I don't quite remember like how to edit the lines again. Oh, there you go. Perfect. So you just select that apparently, and this is the thing that I wanted to modify. Okay, so I select that one again, and this is what I wanted to modify. Perfect. So I go back. Lines are a little bit complicated, guys. I'm not gonna lie, like lines are a little bit complicated. You want to be patient with lines, but there you go. We have a line that basically will be just the representation of this. Okay, so later on, again, we're gonna edit that one, but for now, let's go on shape here. Let's go on stroke, because I want this line to be dashed. Okay, so I'm gonna create a dash here, and I'm going to increase the distance of the dashes. And also, if we scroll here, boom, scroll, you guys are gonna see how this line, if I click other thing like quick tips, how the line is like, you know, it is fine, but I want it to be rounded, so I can change that here, round cap. Okay, perfect. And I can decrease the stroke a little bit, so it's not too much. Maybe at 12, it's fine. There you go. And then I can even change the space of that. Okay, perfect. Stroke width. Okay, I can change that here as well. And what else? Offset. What is this? Okay. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And there you go, guys. So let me just drink some water really quick. I think I like it. Honestly, I'm just gonna leave it like that. And we can close this, we can close this, and we have the line ready. Let me fit this again. Perfect. So we are done creating the elements for that segment. Okay, so we want to go now to the other segment and take a look what I'm gonna do now. So this segment
Work anymore.
it ends here, right? And it starts here. Obviously Justin Welch starts a little bit earlier, but for now this one starts here. Okay, so with that on mind, keep in mind that I also trimmed these text at the very beginning. Okay, I don't think I did it on the previous like clip that I recorded. Like I created these things and they were, you know, the same size of the entire timeline, but I trimmed those, okay, while I was on the break. So, and I didn't realize that. So now I'm just going to explain how to trim things, because remember that we can do this. So this is generic content. I can take that to the size of the segment that we're going to be doing. Okay, it should start there, but the other way that we can do it is we can select several elements and layers here, and again, if we go to keyboard shortcuts, we can click or hold Option and then this key. Okay, if we want to make the cut here, if we want to make it here, then we would need to hold Option, or on Windows I don't really know what that was, but I think it's Control or Alt, and then Option and then this key right here on MacBook. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. So Option, boom. So it trimmed everything to this point, to the plate head. I position the plate head here, and I can do Option and then the next one. I forgot to select generic content as well, so let's do it for generic content. Perfect. So we have Justin Welch, we have the intro, right, with the text hook and the highlight. Perfect. That only lasts that segment, because then we have Justin Welch and then we have the background with those elements that we created. This segment ends here.
Anymore. What's working right now?
But you can see that it was like a weird cut, right? I'm ending it here and then it starts again. So
More. What's working right?
So it was a little bit weird. So let me see.
Anymore. What's working right?
Something is not like ending at the right time. So let me just increase or zoom in here. and try to see the
What's working?
I don't know, maybe it could be somewhere here. Okay, this cut is the one that it looks a little bit weird, so I'm gonna just take everything. Okay, so from here, shift, take everything and make it disappear right there. Okay, so I think it's gonna be way better. Okay, perfect. So let me zoom out here. Okay, zoom out, and then
Doesn't work anymore. What's working right now is essence.
okay, so here is where we get into the other little segment, which is about essence. So honestly, I'm just gonna take this generate content text, I'm gonna duplicate it, I'm gonna bring it to the top, and then I'm going to add it here. Okay, and now I want to change that for let me change that for essence. Okay, now this text is a little bit different because it's not gonna be black, it's gonna be white and a little bit bigger, so I can make that a little bit bigger here. Perfect. So essence, and then the fill color I can change it to white. All right, perfect.
Now, let me actually tell you what that means.
Okay, let me actually tell you what that means. It's another segment, so I am going to zoom in here, because again, I really want to be able to see when does the frame changes. So here is where I make the cut. So before the thing ends, I want to take the word essence and I want to trim it. Okay, right there. And then right there, I'm going to add another background, but this time it's not gonna be a red background, because I'm gonna be talking about when you overcome a challenge. So it's an animation of me going from 0 to 1K and the things that allowed me to do that. So we really want to be intentional about the things, the colors we use, and the things that we do on the animation, because remember, the most important thing is to make the message that we want to communicate, to make it easy to understand to the audience. All right, and use like the vibes that will help the audience understand that message. So here I'm talking about overcoming a challenge. I want to use a blue background instead. So I'm gonna right click somewhere here, new solid, and then I'm gonna do blue background, and then this color. Okay, it's blue. Okay, perfect. So click OK, and there you go, we have a blue background, but that's gonna start here. All right. Then let me zoom out this, and okay, the text essence starts there and then it finishes there, and we have a new background. And we have, let's take a look at these elements. We need my profile picture, $0, 1K, we need a line, and we need the icons, and we also need on the other scene, which you're gonna see how we do it with 3D cameras, we're gonna have or need the XP icon. So let's actually start adding pretty much everything. So the first thing is gonna be a text, and this text is gonna be just $0. Where is it? Why don't I see it? Okay, there you go. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, it's because I'm creating this text below the background, so it should be here. Awesome. Now if I go here, then I want to change that to owners. Okay, remember, I'm getting these fonts from the Creative Cloud. Okay, so $0. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that. Don't worry, we will worry about this like later on. I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna move that maybe to the same position, and then I'm gonna change it for what? 1K. Okay, then select here. Then we also need a line, right? So we are gonna do a line. This one is gonna be simple. So without selecting anything, go ahead and create the line. So 1 point here and then the other one here, and we have created a line. We can, if we want, increase the stroke of the line, but I want to take the anchor point to the very middle. Okay, so again, I'm gonna change the name for this. I'm just gonna call it line, and there you go, we have a line. All right, perfect. So this line right here, I'm gonna select it, and I also want to do the same for the stroke. So contents, shape, stroke, dashes, and then add a little bit here, and I think I'm gonna just leave it like that. Okay, perfect. So maybe a little bit more. Okay, that's fine. And what else do we have? Okay, we have my profile picture. So for my profile picture, oh, I remember. So I have it actually here. Okay, I added from my computer previously, so I'm gonna take it and drag and drop it. Perfect. And take a look what I'm gonna do now. Okay, for this one, I don't want this whole square picture. I just want it to be a circle. So we're gonna create a mask for the picture. So I need to select the picture, the element, the layer, and I'm gonna go here, hold, choose the ellipse tool, and from here, from the corner, okay, somewhere here, I want to create, holding shift, a circle for the picture. So it can be something like that. Perfect. Now I want to select the thing, and I can go ahead, select this and move it, holding shift, make it smaller, maybe like that. Okay, perfect. Could be smaller, we'll see. And okay, so we have the picture. We also need the XP icon. The XP icon will be later on, because we also need these icons, okay, that we previously downloaded. So we will need the CapCut one. So if I add this one, don't worry guys, I'm gonna leave these things on the video's description as well, so you guys can have them. I'm gonna make this smaller, boom, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to add the next ones. Okay, see how intentional we are being with the actual edit and actual animations, guys. This is what I want to teach you guys. Like, it's not video editing, it's not only about adding stuff to a screen and editing that, and then boom, you have a really cool edit, or you're over editing the video and that's it. No, we want to be intentional about the edits that we do. Every element on the screen has a meaning, they have an intention, they add some sort of value to the message that we want to communicate. Okay, so I'm not adding a bunch of random stuff, everything is intentional. Okay, I see that as just a small common mistake that I see on some people, that they just add stuff to the screen just for the sake of adding stuff to the screen, when in reality, like, again guys, you want to put some effort into the brainstorming and the actual edit. So we go ahead and do this here. And by the way, if you can do this, like if you're doing this for clients, then your client is going to be really happy with your work as well. So keep that in mind. All right, perfect. So okay, later on we will like organize them and stuff, but we are now only adding all the things. Okay, so XP icon, I'm gonna add it here and make it a small, it's gonna be somewhere here, and then the gem, okay, this is gonna be here, and then just make it small. All right, perfect. Now this little segment is gonna take more than I expected, so it's taking more than I expected, but it's normal because guys, building this, like the elements, dragging and dropping, and building the backgrounds, creating the backgrounds, creating the text and all these things, even though we are not animating, it takes some time. Okay, so that's why we're taking some time here. Now take a look at this. Okay, all these elements, when I created them, when I drag and drop, all of them are the same size of the timeline. Okay, so look how big they are. So in this sense, we need to go ahead and make them the size of the segment. All right, so for example, the background is started here, okay, and let me see where, let me just listen to the video to see where the segment ends.
When you overcome a challenge, or you solve a problem in your...
Okay, let me pause it really quick because I don't know why this is lagging. All right, guys, so I have just a little issue here, but we're back. So let me just play that to see where this segment ends.
When you overcome a challenge or you solve a problem in your life, you gain genuine expertise and insights.
Okay, so you gain genuine expertise and